It happened one Saturday. Frances was at home reading a book, and all of a sudden she began to think about some strange things that she'd experienced in her lifetime. Things that these days they call glitches. Things that almost couldn't be, but that she'd experienced or seen. And it set her on a path of really questioning reality. There had been so many strange occurrences, so many odd things that she'd just written off because she couldn't explain them. But now she thought about them. She thought about the time that she had received a phone call from her own telephone number. The lady on the other end said her name was Frances. It was so bizarre, and Frances kept saying, "No, I don't understand. How is your number my number? And your name is Frances?" And the woman insisted that she knew her and wanted to have lunch. And Frances kept saying, "But how do you have my telephone number? Not to mention that your name is my name." And then there was the doll. It had been her mother's doll when she was a child. And Frances had lost her on a vacation to Daytona Beach when she was 9 years old. And she and her mother both had been just sick about it. And then, over 600 miles away, right down the street from Frances's house, one day Frances found the doll in a thrift store. She knew it was the same doll because her mother's doll was missing its left ear. Her mother had dropped it or broken it somehow, and it had this distinguishable feature. And Frances couldn't believe it. She was so thrilled to have found her, but still blown away that she had somehow ended up right down the street from Frances's house. And then there was the morning that Frances saw her landlord, who was getting a rental house that was across the street from Frances's house ready, and she was vacuuming the front yard. Frances knew that you could mow the grass, but she didn't understand why anyone would be vacuuming the grass. It was possible, she supposed, to vacuum a yard, but not probable. And she was very confused about reality, and she began to wonder if she were in her own Truman Show. Was this all just a Truman Show? And were the people in her life characters in her movie? And maybe she was a character in their movie. And it was so crazy to think about. But it was almost like you were figuring something out. And what you were figuring out was that it was all just a beautiful dream. It was just a beautiful dream. And it was wonderful.